Good morning, friends and students. I am Dr. Charul Jain, Assistant Professor, Department of English from MS University, Baroda. And today we are going to have a session on active listening as a part of commercial correspondence. As you all know, language use is a skill. A skill like cooking, like swimming, where we have to develop our skill continuously, become effective, and constant practice is needed for making us effective and efficient. You might also know that language skills are further categorized into 4 sub-skills, which are called LSRW, that is listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The first skill is listening, as you might note in LSRW, and that is the most important skill because as a child, we first start developing listening. As we start growing up, we get to learn other skills. But somewhere in the process of growing up and learning other skills, we pay less and less attention to listening and we start taking it for granted. Nevertheless, we spend almost 95% of our daily time, activities in listening. And it's needless to say how much important listening is in our daily lives, because unless we listen effectively, we will not be able to perform our functions and our duties properly and effectively. You all might accept and acknowledge that we are surrounded by sounds throughout our day. Since the time we wake up in the morning till we go to bed at night, we are always surrounded by sounds. When we are at home, we are surrounded by people who keep talking. There is music playing in the background, sometimes TV is playing in the background, and we are always using our ears. As we move out of our house, we are surrounded by sounds on the road, traffic sounds, honking sounds, etc. As we enter a classroom, we are surrounded again by sounds. Maybe the teacher is speaking, maybe the friends and other students in the classroom, inside as well as outside, are speaking all the time. And again, we have sounds and sounds. By the time we go to bed, even while lying in the bed at night, we can hear many sounds. Sometimes the dogs are barking in the street, sometimes other people in the house are chatting, and sometimes we also have the sounds coming from the TV. And this just proves that sound is everywhere, sound is all around us. But then the question comes, when the sound is around us, are we really listening or we are simply hearing? Sometimes we listen, but most of the time we hear and we do not listen. My question to you is, can we use hearing and listening as synonymous to each other? Are they one and the same things? No, they are not. Hearing and listening are very different activities. You all might know that there are 5 senses that most of the humans are born with. Any idea what those 5 senses are? Can you please tell the senses? Yes, the 5 senses are?
Ear, nose, ma'am, one sec, I'm remembering.
We have been given eyes to, we see through our eyes, we smell through our nose, we taste through our tongue, we hear through our ears, and we feel through our skin. So 5 sense organs related with 5 senses. Since we have ears, some sounds will fall on our eardrums, and these sounds would get converted into some kind of electrochemical signals which our brain receives. And all these sounds eventually amount to our hearing something. But hearing does not necessitate our listening. I'm giving you 2 situations. Yes, please.
Ma'am, you right now said that we have 5 senses in ourselves. So what is that 6th sense we have? That how can we sense it up in our body?
Actually, 6th sense is said to be something which is little external to our bodily senses per se. Because sometimes we say that it's a combination of our sensory perceptions as well as mental processes which lead us to the 6th sense. Okay, so it is not accepted biologically as a part of the sense per se, right? So biologically, I would say there are only 5 senses, and the 6th sense is a combination of biological and probably a cognitive
Okay.
application. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to give you 2 situations, and I would like to ask you, what do you think these situations represent, hearing or listening? The first situation is, it's a situation taken from a home environment which you might have encountered very frequently. Mother, Akshat, come here. Akshat is watching TV. Mother, I said Akshat, come here. Is Akshat hearing
Hearing.
or listening?
Is hearing.
Hearing.
Akshat is hearing. Another situation. This is a classroom situation, again something which we might all have experienced sometime in our lives. Teacher says, Ishrat, now can you please read further? Ishrat starts reading. Teacher responds, Ishrat, you are reading from page 25. We are already on the next page. Was Ishrat hearing or listening to what was going on in the classroom?
Hearing.
She was again hearing.
Hearing.
Why do you say she was hearing?
Because she was not doing the action.
Because she was not paying attention to whatever was being done or whatever was being said in the classroom. Now we move on to the prerequisites of active listening. There are 2 basic things which are required in active listening. Active listening involves active involvement, and the whole body participates in the process of listening. Our brain processes information. Our eyes maintain contact with the listener. Our entire face communicates our expressions. Our body bends towards the speaker, and our hands and toes both point towards the speaker. Some people are born listeners, but not everybody. We have to train ourselves to become active listeners, and that comes through practice. I have a PowerPoint presentation through which I will be taking you to various aspects of active listening and how to become a better listener. This is the listening time. As I said earlier, there is a difference between hearing and listening. Hearing is a physiological process. It is one of the 5 senses, and it is inevitable without any active participation of the human being. Since we are born with that sense, we inevitably hear. On the other hand, listening is a cognitive process. It begins with hearing, but it involves mental activity as the second step. And for listening, active desire and participation is a must. So unless a person wishes to participate, actively get involved in the process of listening, listening will not take place. We move on to the next slide, and here again there is a small exercise for you. There are some pictures. In the first 2 pictures, there are 2 people who are interacting with each other. I would want you to identify and assess which of these represent active listening and which represents poor listening. The first 2 slides are about 2 men sitting across a table. In the first one man is talking and the other one is doing something on the computer. Is it active listening or poor listening?
Poor listening.
Poor listening.
Poor listening. In the second slide, both of them are facing each other and they are talking to each other. Active or poor? Active, right. Active listening. Next 2 slides are about 2 ladies talking to each other. Both of them are turned towards each other. Active or poor? Very good. Active listening. And the last slide is a classroom situation where the teacher is giving a lecture probably, and there are some students sitting in the class. The students at the back of the class are talking to each other and they seem to be enjoying and having fun with each other. Active listening or poor listening?
Poor listening.
Poor listening. Wonderful. That shows that we are able to identify which situations represent active listening and which situations amount to poor listening. Shall we move on to the next slide, please? These are the factors affecting listening: physical environment, attitudes, interests, images, prejudices, values, past experience, assumptions, expectations, strong feelings, beliefs, memories, prejudices. They all are the factors which affect our listening. They are also called barriers to listening since they negatively influence the process of listening. Some factors are external, which are not under human, or they are not subject to the human who's in the process of listening. First of all, noise. There is a lot of noise around us. People keep talking around us. Sometimes cell phones are ringing. When we are on the street, the vehicles are honking and vehicles are zooming past us. So all of this amounts to noise that is created. Second important factor is venue. The ambience of the particular venue can create positive or negative impact on the people. Ventilation, either it is too hot or too cold. If it is too dark or too lighted, all of these also create an impact on the listening that we have to experience. Yes, there is some question?
What's the meaning of ambience?
Ambience is the surrounding, what kind of situation. Sometimes we enter a room and it is very well decorated, very well kept, very neat and tidy, and that creates a positive environment for us to be comfortable in. But sometimes the room is very untidy and we are not able to find a place to sit, and maybe it's very shabby. So it creates a negative impact and we are not able to relate positively to the circumstance. Time also is a very important external barrier to listening. Sometimes we are in a hurry and we want to finish the conversation and rush on to the next work that we have, and therefore we might not be mentally and physically prepared. We do not have sufficient time to indulge in the process of listening. Status and culture are two very important factors which affect listening. If a person belongs to a higher status, either financially or position-wise, people become more conducive to listen to the person and are more receptive. But if a person who is lower in position from us, sometimes we are not so open to accept what the person is saying. Culture also influences. Culture dictates certain mannerisms, behaviors, attitudes, prejudices, biases in us. And when we meet a person who does not belong to the same culture, there are certain barriers in communication because certain things we might like, certain things we might not like. And these also create a barrier in listening effectively to whatever is being communicated to us. The internal barriers to listening amount to the person's or the listener's own barriers. First of all, state of mind. Sometimes we get emotionally charged. We are either very angry or we are frustrated. All such kind of feelings do not allow us to actively get involved in the process of listening. Ego is a very big factor which determines listening. People have certain ideas about themselves and ideas about others, and sometimes they think that I am superior to the other and why should I listen to the other person. And sometimes there are internal conflicts, and as a result, ego hampers effective listening. Prejudgment. As human beings, many of us look at the person and create some notions or impressions about the people. Or some past memories that we carry with us influence our judgment about the person or the topic that a person is going to talk about. Sometimes we do not even give ample opportunity to the person to speak, and even before that we judge what the person is going to say. This also creates a barrier in effective listening. Language. Definitely, if the language is not common, suppose I start speaking Malayali and you do not know Malayali, obviously that will be a barrier. But in addition to that, there are kinds of languages which people understand. When you are speaking to an illiterate person and you start speaking in a very high flown English language, the person might not understand. So you have to adjust your language according to the person who is receiving the language and adapt your language to that person's acceptability level. Certain prerequisites of learning: get physically involved in the process of listening. You turn your body towards the orator. Maintaining eye contact is very essential in increasing amount of listening. Sometimes when the person is not visible, we are not able to listen adequately to whatever is being said. And that many times you might have noticed on railway stations or bus stops, announcements are being made and you are not able to see the person. So your level of comprehension is not complete. But if you are able to see the person, your level of comprehension is much more, since maintaining eye contact improves comprehension. Observe the speaker's body language and expressions. We all know that non-verbal communication is very important, and a lot of communication is done through non-verbal means. And therefore, looking at the speaker, observing the body language and expressions helps us improve and comprehend better. For a speaker, it is very important that the speaker receives feedback from the listener. The speaker should be able to judge whether you are with him or not, whether you accept whatever is being said or not, and therefore, as a listener, it is your responsibility to communicate through your body and eyes. Your whole body thereby gets involved in the process of listening. Not merely physical involvement, but also mental involvement is necessary in the process of listening. Distract yourself from outside noise, focus on the speaker, pay attention to the topic. Most of the time, the speakers begins by giving you a pre-task or a warm-up task, and they tell you what exactly they are going to talk about. That tunes your mind, trains your mind to listen to what exactly is being talked about by the speaker. So focus on whatever the speaker is going to say.